What are some little-known relationship green flags?
Willingness to forgive you when you make a mistake, speak in anger, etc., rather than hold a grudge or try to punish you. Doesn't mean they won't still be upset, of course. Willingness to admit fault and take responsibility when they make a mistake, speak in anger, etc., and work on their own negative behaviors. Related. Taking you seriously when something upsets you, even if it doesn't seem like a big deal from their perspective. Not losing their temper when things don't go their way. Example. Do you want to be with someone who blows up when the car breaks down on a road trip and makes everyone else miserable, or the person who calmly calls the repair service and tries to make the best of it? Not making personal attacks during arguments. Focusing more on how they are feeling and fixing the problem at hand, and then reconciling afterward, rather than lashing out with a list of perceived character flaws. Example. I feel disrespected when, rather than, you're such a disrespectful expletive of choice. Genuine care for you and others, a lack of self-centeredness. Being open to hear the perspectives of others, even when they don't agree. An understanding that they are not the center of the universe, they are not always right, and there is always something to learn. In short, emotional maturity. When you like the person that you become when you're with them. Everyone projects a different version of themselves around different people, and if you don't like who you become when you're with someone, it's probably not going to be the healthiest relationship. Your so should bring out the best in you. The ability to coexist in very companionable silence. A friend of mine once said, "When silence is not cringe, the friendship is real." My dad always told me all I needed to do to make friends was to be okay at talking, good at listening, and excellent at shutting the fuck up. That's damn good advice.
If it's a chore you both hate, you do it together. My late husband and I both hated folding laundry, but it had to be done. So we always did it together. Made the chore less of a pain.
My dad did that with us growing up. Anytime he needed to run errands or do housework, he would ask me or my brother to keep him company and talk to him. He said that made it was less about being bored and annoyed by doing chores and more happy hanging out and bonding time with his kids. It was always fun too. He genuinely did like spending time with us and joking around. We were never super close because he was pretty strict, but I always liked that quality time with him.
It's a pretty convoluted story, but I was dating a guy, had to drive his car to get him from a situation, and wrecked his car due to mechanical failure, and called my mama to come get me so we could go get him. Rescued him. Then had to tell him I'd wrecked his car. His first question, "Are you okay?" My mom overheard. That one's a keeper. I've told this story before, but a week or two into dating my boyfriend, I was driving to work and one of the wheels fell off my car on the highway. I pulled over to the side of the road and called my boss and a tow truck, and then texted my new beau just for comfort. He asked where on the highway I was and said he'd be right there, without hesitating. When he showed up and ran across the busy highway and scooped me up into a hug, I felt so loved and safe and thought, oh shit, this could be the one.
No matter how angry you are at one another, you will still go out of your way, or they go out of their way to help. I'll be wicked pissed, but I'll angrily make my wife her favorite dinner even though I don't want to eat. No matter how angry we are at one another, usually only last a short period of time. We will never sabotage or try to teach them a lesson. Many times, it ends up being both apologizing to one another. Arguing and getting angry is just part of a relationship and unavoidable. It is how you deal with it that sets it apart from a healthy relationship versus a bad one. Edit. Thanks for the reward thingies. There is never any harm telling someone you love them. I'm chuckling at the mental image of angrily cooking a meal. Use my razor without asking, harumph? Tell me I'm becoming my dad. I'll show you. Now, where'd I put the frickin' basil? Fucking make you the best goddamn spaghetti you ever had? We'll see who's being unreasonable. Came home from working a 12-hour shift one night to a full dinner with my favorite dessert. Never had a girlfriend just decide to cook me a full meal for me to come home to like that.
That's so sweet. Able to forgive mistakes. Early in our relationship, I accidentally backed my car into my fiancé's car while coming out of the driveway. I definitely did damage. I immediately started freaking out and crying, and he just calmly got out of his car, came up to mine and asked if I was okay. He got me to calm down and said it was fine, it was just an accident. He never made me feel bad about it. He called it our little bump to my friends to minimize my embarrassment. We laugh about it to this day. Side note: his dad, who works with cars, fixed his car for him at no cost. Edit: no, he did not have any way of knowing his dad could fix the car. His father is not a mechanic, his father knows a mechanic. His father didn't bring up fixing the car until several months later.
When you're on a road trip and your partner feeds you fries and helps you drink your soda or whatever, I think that's such a nice, simple gesture of kindness. Yes, and there are many responsibilities being the co-driver. Extra points. I feel like there's a lot of detailed examples that largely boil down to two things: empathy and emotional maturity. It's sad that those two are so often lacking, that people become surprised by it.
My ex would tease me a lot and would tease me in front of his family. He would say things like, "Oh, she changed her outfit 3 times because she thought you guys would judge her." Or, "She didn't really want to come over, but I convinced her." He would be laughing and joking, but these things would be the truth. When I was going to meet my current boyfriend's family, I was really nervous. In the car, I said, "Please don't tell them how nervous I am, it's so embarrassing." He looked at me in shock and said, "I'm on your side." Why would I tell them that? And it was like a freaking light bulb. Love this guy. Genuine support in your life goals, even if that means you two will have to go long distance for a while, or will have to have conflicting work schedule, or it will make your relationship harder in some way. If they love you and want you to be happy, they will be genuinely interested in what you want to do, and will try to support you to do that in whatever way they can. They won't hold you back in any way. This is something me and my so have been facing something similar to this recently. He's just graduated and is looking for a job. As much as I want him to stay close by so we don't have to do long distance for any more time than we have to, I'm going home for the summer. But if he gets a job the other side of the country, I won't stop him, and as long as I'm around, I'll help him pack up.
Telling the little details about your day. There's something really precious about that, and you feel in tune with the other person. When your so takes criticism from you seriously without immediately trying to turn it back on you. If the converse is also true, you two stand a great chance of going the distance. I think it's important to realize that this is where you can be out the gate, or it's somewhere you can get to. My wife reacts very poorly to criticism, not because she can't stand to have flaws in her behavior pointed out, but because she feels that when I criticize her actions, I'm telling her that she's garbage, and in a day or two, I'll be telling her to move out. That's a direct effect of her upbringing, and what's important is that she recognizes the issue for what it is, and we talk about it. It's made us so much better.
Being able to emotionally connect even after an argument. Absolutely. During the beginning of our relationship, whenever my partner and I would argue, he would try to hold my hand, rub my arm, or hug me as we talked. When I'm wound up, I feel like I need space to think, like physical space, so I would always push him away. We'd always get to a point in our arguments where he would just shut down or walk out of the apartment, and I couldn't figure out why. I thought that he just didn't care enough to talk these things out with me. Finally, I learned that physical touch is a big part of his love language, and that was what he needed after our fights to feel emotionally connected with me. Since then, when one of us gets upset, we hold hands and talk things out. It's a weird small thing that's made a huge difference in our relationship.
Honesty. Genuine interest in each other's hobbies. Don't have to do them, but at least support it. Strong communication. You feel like you're hanging out with your best friend, except you want to smash. Being able to have healthy conflict without fear that conflict will cause the end of the relationship. It's green flag and a relief. To have natural disagreements and communication about those disagreements without constant fear that someone's going to hit the nuclear option. Edit. Also, doctoring my coffee and bringing it to me in bed was a smaller green flag. Edit 2. Doctoring meaning putting cream and sugar in, and thank you for the awards and gold Reddit friends. Underrated comment. Also, no matter how pissed off you are at each other, you're still supporting, respectful, and considerate of one another. When you never have to question their whereabouts and you get that safe feeling. Non-sexual compliments. Not really sure if this counts because we're not in a relationship, but last fall semester, my friend asked if I could help her with something. I hadn't seen her in a while, and while I was talking to her, she said, "You got new glasses?" I said yes. They really suit you. It honestly made my day. Compliments really go a long way. Your partner does things for you without asking and remembers little details. For example, I like eating with a fruit fork, the smaller version of the dinner fork. I actually Googled that since our family calls them the little forks LOL. Anyway, my partner remembers this and will grab it for me when we're dishing up food. Another good one is they make you feel appreciated. Edit. It may be a cake fork or salad fork. OMG, same here. My fiancée always grabs me the little forks, or as I like to call them, normal forks. She prefers the monster forks. Regardless, it's such a simple, nothing gesture that shows she's listening and she cares. Marrying that wonderful person this Saturday. Smiley face. Edit. Been working all day and just checked in. Thank you all for the well wishes. We are super excited. Not the wedding we had envisioned when we got engaged, but it's going to be perfect.
That's all for today. If you have any stories, experiences, or tips related to today's topic, please share them in the comments below. That would be interesting for me and the viewers of the channel to read. We love hearing from you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great content and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends.